in one of the class, we had designed a T-beam. Now for that T-beam, we only designed the flexural reinforcement. So the same problem I'll be taking. Okay, the same problem I'll be taking. And for this beam, now our task will be to design the shear reinforcement. All right. So let us extract the data, how the problem for shear design will look like. So the data will look like this, like this. It will be design the shear reinforcement for a T-beam having cross-section dimension as shown. Okay, so it is a continuation of the problem, but I'm trying to formulate a problem from what we had solved. So the cross-section dimension you had already decided. Let me draw that sketch. So this is the T-beam section. So the thickness of the slab was how much? It was 120 mm. Okay, thickness of the slab was 120 mm, and we were providing this the overall depth as 570 mm. Okay, and width of web adopted was 230 mm. So it will look like this. This dimension is 230 millimeter. This is 120 millimeter. The overall depth is 570 millimeter, and this effective width of flange, I guess it was 1950, but let me confirm. Okay, yeah, it is 1950. And also we said that effective depth is going to be 540 mm. So this is 1950. And here what we are doing in this problem at mid span, okay, because if I see this beam, here I had made the section like this. This was the beam supported on wall. And what we are doing, we have to provide 6 reinforcement at the mid span. So that I have done. And when I'm coming near support, I am curtailing the bars. I said that 3 bars are going to be curtailed. Okay, so at support you have only 3 bars, while at mid section you have 6 bars. And the diameter of the bar is how much? Okay, 20 dia bar. So I'll write here. Design the shear reinforcement for T-beam having cross-section dimension as shown. This beam is reinforced with 6 number of 20 dia bar at, okay, so I'll just write 6 number of 20 dia bar with 3 numbers of bars being curtailed near support. At what distance we were curtailing? We are curtailing at a distance of 1.1 meter. Okay, so curtail near support at 1.1 meter on either side of the support. And I'm asking you to design the shear reinforcement for this data. Okay, so what we need for in order to design the shear reinforcement, I need to know the design shear force. Okay, I need to know the design shear force. And also here I will write this, the total ultimate UDL acting on beam is, so this we had done. I can extract the data. It was 67 kilonewton per meter. It is 67 kilonewton per meter, the clear span of the beam. I'll write here clear span of beam is 6 meter and it is supported on walls having thickness 300 mm. Let us see, 300 mm. Okay, so this is how the problem is getting formulated for the shear design. So how to start with? So in order to start, as you can see, you have different reinforcement, different flexural reinforcement. One is a 620 dia bar, which is being provided at midspan, and as we come at support, it reduces to 320 dia bar. So the shear strength of concrete, okay, the contribution from concrete for the shear strength is going to be less near support compared to what you are going to have at midspan. But also we know that at midspan your shear force is going to be less compared to what you are going to get near support. So to start with, so first what we will do, because I would like to know for what shear force I should design. So this is my beam. This beam is having ultimate load of 67 kilonewton per meter. Now this is getting support from 300 mm thick wall. Okay, and this is having a clear span of 6 meter. Yesterday I was talking about the critical section. Okay, so in the code it talks about this critical section. Let me show you that page. Here it is, critical section for shear. So it is mentioning the shear computed at the face of the support shall be used in the design of the member. So you can take what is the shear force at the face of the support. What I mean to say that you compute what is the shear force at this particular location, at this particular face. But here it has specified in order to achieve some economy and in order to take advantage of compression reaction at the support. So it is saying this critical section can be located at a distance d from the face of the support, provided you get a compression reaction. So here you can see you have a beam and it is getting support from the wall, and from the face of the support you see you can select at a distance d from the face of the support. So here in this case, in this problem, the critical section for shear is going to be located at a distance d from the face of the support. So this is going to be our critical section. Okay, so this is our critical section for shear. So I would like to know what is the shear force over here. Okay, so I hope this point is clear where you are going to locate the critical section for shear. But suppose if you don't want, if you want to have a conservative design, you can always find the shear force at the support, and shear force at the face of the support is going to be very high compared to what a shear force you are going to get at the critical section. So in fact, if you design for a very high shear force, it will give result to you in what? More amount of shear reinforcement. So that is going to be a more conservative design. But I would like to go with an economical design by taking advantage of the compression reaction at support. And I said when you have this compression force in the member, then the shear resistance or the shear action is going to be less. Okay, you can say the resistance against shear is going to get enhanced. So what I will be doing, I'll compute what is center to center distance. So the center to center distance is going to be 6.3 meter because the thickness of this wall is 300 mm. It is 0.3 meter. So what I can do, I can compute what is the reaction. So what is this reaction at a center? Because if I do the center line modeling, then here your reaction will be present. So I would like to know what is this reaction. So what will be this reaction? Vu, okay, which will be exactly at the mid support. So Vu will be W into L by 2, that is 67 into 6.3 divided by 2. How much is this reaction?
211.05.
Okay, let me not write Vu. Let me write this as reaction, okay, ultimate reaction, 211.05 kilonewton. So this is the reaction exactly at the mid support. But I would like to know what is the shear force at critical section, which is placed at a distance d, or you can say from the support, this distance is going to be how much? So basically you can say at section XX, what is the shear force? So this section X is located at D plus 0.3 by 2. Okay, D plus 0.3 by 2. So I would like to know the shear force at critical section. Okay, and this is at what distance? So this is at distance of D plus 0.3, and we know what is the effective depth. Okay, here the effective depth the D which you had adopted was 540 mm. Okay, so this is coming again from your design data. Let me show you that. Okay, here it is. So I would like to know shear force at critical section. So this critical section is located at a distance of 0.54 plus 0.3 by 2. So how much will be this shear force? Can you tell me? It will be RU reaction
0.69
minus, okay, this is 0.69, 0.69 meter. So I would like to know what is the shear force at this critical section at 0.69 meter. So here you can see you have upward force and you will be having downward force. So I'll be having RU minus 67 into 0.69. So you do this, how much it is coming? What is the shear force for which you are going to design?
164.82, sir.
164.82 kilonewton. So instead of designing for a very large shear force, let's say 211.05, you have to design for how much? 164.82 kilonewton. So this will give you lesser shear reinforcement. So before proceeding ahead, what I would suggest, you always plot the shear force diagram. It is always good that if you plot the shear force diagram, it will help you to take a decision regarding economical distribution of your stirrups. So for this problem, what I will be doing, I'll draw the shear force diagram. And let me draw the line diagram for the problem. So this is 67. So again, it is a center line drawing. This distance was 6.3, and I wanted to see how my shear force is actually varying. So at support, you have the reaction as the shear force. It will be 211.05. So I assume that you are knowing how to make your shear force diagram. So at support, you'll be having the shear force equal to the reaction, and it reduces, it will come down, and here again your shear force diagram will go downward. It is going to be 211.05. So what you have can see that at a distance located 0.69 meter. So you know this for this shear force you are going to design. So this is how much? 164.82. Now it has been mentioned. Please see that 1.1 meter. So curtailment is done. Where you are doing the curtailment, you are going to do the curtailment. So yeah. So what exactly you are doing? You have reinforcing bar. Okay, you have reinforcing bar, and you are doing the curtailment. Okay, so at what distance you are doing this curtailment? So from the center line, you are curtailing the bar at a distance of 1.1 meter. Okay, so from the center, you are curtailing the bar at a distance of 1.1 meter. So it means that in this zone, okay, so which this I have made, here you have actually 6 numbers of 20 dia bar. Now, if you curtail 3 bars, then it means that further near support, if you come, you'll be having only 320 dia bar. So this we have to understand. So at critical section, which is located at a distance of 0.69 meter, you have only 320 dia bar. So when you compute the shear resistance of concrete, I have to consider 320 dia bar only. Okay, because when I can compute 100 AS TBD, that is percentage tension reinforcement, So at critical section, I have 320 diabar. So based on this 320 diabar, I'll compute my percentage tension reinforcement. All right. So I know that when I'm going to do my shear design for the critical section, I will be considering only 320 diabar. So based on this, so I will write down the shear resistance offered by concrete at critical section. So that is tau c, and how you compute this comes from your 100 AST by VD. You compute this, okay, you compute this percentage tension reinforcement. So how much will be 100 into 3 into pi by 4 into 20 square divided by B. B is your width of web. Okay, B is going to be your width of web. Width of web is 230 and D is your 540. So how much is this percentage tension reinforcement which is coming?
0.7.
0.7. So now what you do, you go to table number 19. So 0.7, it is lying between 0.5 and 0.75. And what you have to do, you have to interpolate between 0.48 and 0.56. And let me show you how you can do that interpolation. So you have 0.7. So I need to compute tau c. Here you will be having 100 AST BD. You'll be having tau c. So you have 0.7. So this 0.7 is lying between 0.5 and 0.75. So for 0.5, what is the value? It is 0.48, as you can see. And for 0.75, it is 0.56. So 0.48 and 0.56. So you have to do the linear interpolation because I would like to know what is the value for 0.7. Okay, and this I'm writing from table number 90. So if you are not knowing how to do the linear interpolation for a few of the students, I know many of you will be knowing. So in order to do the linear interpolation, it is always good that you make this kind of sketch. So say this value is 0.5. So for 0.5, this ordinate is 0.48, and here you have 0.75, and this ordinate is 0.56. Join this by linear line. Somewhere you have this 0.7. So I would like to know what is this ordinate. Okay, so it becomes quite easy if you don't want to remember the formula. So I would like to know what is this ordinate. Okay, so from here till here, this is 0.48. So 0.48 plus this I have to add. So tau c is going to be how much? 0.48 plus this quantity. This quantity. Okay, so what will be this quantity? So from similar triangle I can get. So this distance is actually from here till here it is 0.56. This is 0.48. So it is 0.56 minus 0.48. So I'm getting this dimension. So from here till here, this is 0.75 minus 0.5. Okay, and this has to be multiplied with what? This has to be multiplied with this distance. Is it not? Just I'm using similar triangle. So this distance is 0.7 minus 0.5. So how much you get tau c?
0.544.
0.544 Newton per millimeter square. And always see, it has to lie in between these two values, and by seeing this value, I think it is correct, like 0.48 and 0.56. So it is less than 0.56 and it is greater than 0.48. So it is indicating that the value which I have computed is correct. So tau c is 0.544 Newton per millimeter square. Now, what I'll be doing, so this is the shear resistance which is going to be offered at the critical section. Now, I would like to know what is the shear stress at this critical section. Okay, what is the shear stress at the critical section because of this particular load? So I will compute nominal shear stress due to load or due to critical shear. So this will be how much? So we had computed This shear force at critical section is nothing but your shear force Vu. So it will be Vu divided by width of web into effective depth D. So Vu is 164.82 kilonewton. Okay, divided by width of web is 230 and D is 540. So how much is this coming? Tau V?
1.33.
1.33 Newton per millimeter square. So this is the shear stress which is actually going to come at that particular critical section. And I always said, whenever you proceed ahead with the shear design, make sure the section is adequate. So what is the check? You have to make sure this tau V has to be less than or equal to tau C max, and it is less than tau C max. So tau C max, this is going to come from table 20 from ISO 560-2000. And tau C max for M20 grade concrete, if you recall, it was 2.8 Newton per millimeter square. Here it is. Okay, it is 2.8 Newton per millimeter square. Suppose if tau V would have come greater than 2.8 Newton per millimeter square, it meant that you have to revise the depth of the beam. So if you revise the depth of the beam, so you have to again start from the beginning. Okay, so you have to design your flexural reinforcement also, because your dead load will change. Okay, and since you are providing more thickness or more depth to the beam, your reinforcement quantity will also reduce. Okay, so you please mark this. Suppose at this instance, if you find tau V, okay, please make this note. When you are designing any beam and when you find tau V to be greater than tau C max, it means that you have to revise the depth of the beam, because I would like to have less nominal shear stress. And this I can achieve by either changing width of the beam or depth of the beam. And it is always advisable to change the depth of the beam, because if I increase the depth of the beam, my reinforcement quantity, that is flexural reinforcement quantity, is going to reduce. And even my deflection control criteria will also be in a very conservative side, or I'll say that will also get satisfied when we do that check. So anyway, I'm not having that kind of issue here right now. So I can see tau V equal to 1.33 Newton per millimeter square, and is less than maximum shear strength which concrete can offer. So this is fine for me. Now, since your shear stress, which is actually acting at the critical section, is greater than the shear resistance which has to be offered by concrete, you have to design the shear reinforcement. Suppose if tau V is less than tau C, it means you have to just give the minimum shear reinforcement. And yesterday we had discussed, we had solved a problem where we designed minimum shear reinforcement, and also we designed the shear reinforcement when tau V was greater than tau C. And I'm getting this particular case, tau V is greater than tau C. So let us design it. So how you design it? You design the shear reinforcement for what? This residual shear force. So residual shear force is Vus equal to Vu minus tau C into Bd. So this one we had seen how exactly it is coming. And here also code also suggests, you can see shear reinforcement shall be provided to carry a shear equal to Vu minus tau C Bd. Okay, so this is my Vus. And what I'll be saying, let us provide vertical stirrups. In general, you'll find you go with the vertical stirrups only. And what you are doing, you are going to go for two-legged 8 mm dia bar. So you'll say that you are going to provide vertical stirrups, which is two-legged, and you are using 8 mm dia bar. So VUS. So what will be VUS? So VUS formula is over here for vertical stirrups, 0.87 FYSVD by SV. I can write here 0.87 Fy ASV into D divided by SV, because this is the residual force for which you are providing your reinforcement. So my resistance offered by my shear, it has to be equal to VUS. So this will be equal to Vu minus tau CBD. Vu was 164, sorry, 164.82 A2 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton minus tau c. We had computed 0.544. 0.544. The B is width of web. So 230 into 540. So from here, you get the formula for spacing of this vertical stirrups. So please solve this expression and give me what answer you are getting.
201.54.
201.54 millimeter. Now you need to make sure this spacing of this vertical stirrup has to be less than maximum spacing. And you know what is the maximum spacing? It is minimum of 0.75 times effective depth D, comma 300 mm, whichever is less. I can see this 201.54 is less than 300 and also 0.75 D. So this is satisfactory. So what I can say, provide two-legged 8 mm dia bars as vertical stirrups at say 200 millimeter center to center near support. Okay, so near support, what I'll be doing, I'll be providing this two-legged 8 mm dia, bar as vertical stirrups. Now, since I said I'll be doing economical designs, so one way of avoiding the calculation is what you can do. You can provide the same two-legged 8 mm dia bar at 200 millimeter center to center throughout the span of the beam. So this can be done. So here you'll be having the hanger bar. So here you'll be having this hanger bar. And what you'll be doing, you'll be providing this reinforcement. These vertical lines, you can say that these as my stirrups, which is placed at a 200 millimeter center to center throughout the length of the beam. So this can be done. Okay, so this is one of the solution. But say if you want economy, because you know at mid span the shear force is going to be less, or near to mid span, close to vicinity of mid span, the shear force is less. And whatever you have designed for what? Maximum shear force or the critical shear. So if you want economy, what I will suggest, you compute what is the shear resistance which is going to be offered due to minimum shear reinforcement. Okay, so this is one additional calculation which I'm going to do to make sure that I go with economical design of my stirrups, or economical distribution of my stirrups along the span of the beam. Okay, so this is my some additional calculation which I am doing. But for academic purpose, just for examination purpose, you can stop here. Okay, you can stop here if nothing has been asked. But here some additional step I am doing to just get some economy from the point of saving reinforcement or shear reinforcement quantity. So for that, what I'll do is I'll compute what is the shear resistance which is going to be offered due to minimum shear reinforcement. I'll write here shear resistance offered due to minimum shear reinforcement. If you recall, yesterday we had derived one formula. What was that formula? Can anyone tell me? It was 0.4 BD. Okay, for vertical stirrups. Okay, this was the formula which we had derived. Okay, shear resistance offered by minimum shear reinforcement 0.4 BD. So I can write here. This will be equal to 0.4 B into D. So 0.4 into 230 into D. D is my 540. So how much it is coming?
49680.
Give me in kilonewton. I think
49.68 kilonewton.
Okay. So this is the resistance which is going to be due to minimum shear reinforcement, 49.68 kilonewton. Okay. Now, what I will be doing, this is the shear force diagram which you have. Okay. And at the critical section, which is located at a distance of it was 0.69 meter. You have computed the shear force, which was 164.82. Okay, so 164.82 kilonewton, and at this 1.1 meter. Okay, at this 1.1 meter, this what you are doing, you are curtailing the bar. Okay, so same thing here, from here till here, 1.1 meter, you are curtailing the reinforcing bar. So in this zone, you have 6 number of 25 dia bar. Okay, you have in this zone, please understand, in this zone you have 6 number of 25 dia bar. So I would like to know what is the shear resistance of concrete. Now I would like to know what is going to be the shear resistance of concrete because of the flexural reinforcement. So for that I'll compute shear resistance of concrete at zone where 6, this is not 25, this 20, 6 20 dia bars have been provided. So I'm doing the calculation for this. So in order to do that, first what I have to do, I have to compute 100 AST by BD. So 100 into 6 into pi by 4 into 20 square divided by 230 into D is 540. So how much will be this one? Is it coming?
Sir, 1.51 is coming.
Okay, 1.51. Okay, so this is coming 1.51. So what I can do from table 19, so you go to table number 19, you see this. So it is close to 1.5. So rather than interpolating between 1.5 and 1.75, let us take the value as 0.72. Okay, so I'll take the value of tau c equal to 0.72 Newton per millimeter square. So what is going to be the shear resistance because of the concrete, VC? It will be tau c into BD. Tau c is 0.72, B is 230 and D is 540. So how much this is coming?
89.4 kilonewton, sir.
89.4 kilonewton. Okay, so please try to understand this now. Now in this zone where I am having 620 dia bar, okay, if I provide nominal shear reinforcement, if I provide nominal shear reinforcement, then what will be the total shear resistance? The total shear resistance will be 49.68 plus 89.4. Okay, so you do this calculation roughly. Okay, so this calculation is rough. The shear resistance at that flexural zone, I can say, okay, at 620 dia bar zone. So this is going to be how much? 89.4 plus this 49.68. How much it will come?
139.08.
139.08 kilonewton. Okay, so this is the resistance. So I would like to know where in my shear force diagram I'm going to have a shear force equal to 139.08 kilonewton. Okay, so here I have to locate. In this zone, I have to locate where exactly to here. See, from here till here, okay, where you have provided 620 dia bar, you are going to have the shear resistance. You're going to have the shear resistance of 139.08 kilonewton, provided you go with the nominal shear reinforcement. So I need to make sure that this 139.08 kilonewton, where exactly it is lying in this zone. So say that it is lying at a distance xx. Okay, so say it is lying at a distance x from your left support. So I'll write here, let at a distance x from left support, the shear force equal to, so I am here, I'll be writing VC, rather than writing this one, I'll write here 89.4 plus this one, nominal shear reinforcement 49.68. This is 139.08. So since I'm asking, I'm telling it is lying at a distance x. So what is going to be the shear force over here? So at this particular section in this beam, where is my beam? Here. So at a distance x, I would like to know what is my shear force. Okay, and I want to make sure that at this point I get at this point I'm going to get my shear force equal to 139.08 kilonewton. Okay, so what will be my expression? My expression again here at this section, my shear force will be reaction minus 67 into x. So I can write here reaction minus 67x. So finally you will be getting x value as 139.08 minus reaction. Reaction is how much? 211.05. 211.05 kilonewton divided by 67. So you tell me how much is x coming?
1.07, sir.
1.0. Okay, it is 1.07 meter, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, और minus sign 139 के पीछे होगा, sir. Plus
Okay.
211.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So please make this correction because I have to bring this one here. 211.05 minus 139.0. Thank you for correcting it. So this we're getting 1.07 meter. Okay. Now how you have to interpret this? Please see here. You have the 620 dia bar at this location from here till here, and from here till here you have 1.1 meter. It is not possible that my section is going, this x is going to be less than this zone. So I can say from my result that from this till here I can provide my nominal shear reinforcement. So I can always interpret that from my curtailment zone onwards, what I can do, I can provide nominal shear reinforcement. Okay, is this a point clear to you all? We have to interpret in this manner because if I give 1.07 meter here as 139.08 kilonewton, here you will not be having a shear resistance of 139.08 kilonewton because you do not have 620 dia bar at that particular location. I need to make sure my shear resistance has to be how much? It has to be 139.08 kilonewton. Okay, and if I come here, if I come over here, here of course my shear is less than this whatever I'm going to have. Okay, so I hope this point is clear to you. So what I can do now, if I want to draw my shear reinforcement diagram, means reinforcement detail drawing, a rough sketch. So you please see. This is my flexural reinforcement, main flexural reinforcement. This is my hanger bar to support my vertical stirrups. And what you are doing, you are curtailing the reinforcing bar near support. So from this curtailment distance, say from the mid span, or I can do this also, 1.1 minus 0.3 by 2. So 1.1 minus 0.3 by 2 will be how much? It will be 0.95 meter. That is 950 millimeter. So from here, from the face of the support, 0.95 meter. So from the face of the support, you will curtail these bars. Okay, and here you can mark. You are having 320 dia bar, and here if I see, here you are having 620 dia bar. So I'm making this sketch so that it is understood that in mid span and this cranking position I have given, I bent this bar in order to show that here I have curtailed the bar. Now let me show the shear reinforcement. So I'll draw the shear reinforcement here. Okay. And I'll mark this distance from here till here. This is two-legged 8 dia at 200 millimeter center to center. Similarly, from here till where I'm cranking or where I'm curtailing the bar. Okay, so this here I'm providing my shear reinforcement as two-legged. This is L. Okay, two-legged 8 dia at 200 millimeter center to center. Now, what will be my shear reinforcement here at the zone where I'm having 620 dia bar? So there I'm going to have minimum shear reinforcement. So minimum shear reinforcement. Now what you can do, you can compute. So again, in the last class we had seen how you can compute. So you can compute this using this formula. Okay, minimum shear reinforcement you can compute using this formula 0.87 Fy SVD. SV should be greater than equal to 0.4 BD. So let me write, or you can use indirectly this formula also. So it is your convenience, or you can say this also. So yesterday we have seen this one. SV equal to 0.87 Fy ASV divided by 0.4 V. So I'll write here for minimum shear reinforcement, provide, again I'll be providing two-legged 8 dia bar. So what will be my spacing of this bar? SV equal to 0.87 Fy ASV divided by 0.4 B. So how much is this SV coming?
Sir, 394.32.
394.32. But now this spacing should not be, means you can see this is actually becoming greater than maximum spacing. And you know what is maximum spacing? It is minimum of 0.75 D, 300. And here this will be as maximum will be equal to 300 millimeter. So you'll say that provide two-legged 8 dia bar at 300 millimeter center to center. And where you will be providing? You'll be providing in this zone from here to here. So you can see you have done some kind of economical design. Rather than providing closer spacing 200 millimeter center to center at the mid span, since your shear force is going to be less, if I provide minimum shear reinforcement, that will also be fine for me. So this will be two-legged 8 dia at 300 millimeter center to center. So this is the sketch which finally you have to give, and it gives you a clear idea what exactly you have to do and how you have to place your reinforcement at the site. It is giving you the position where you are curtailing the bar, and it is giving you an idea regarding what should be your main reinforcement. Okay, and you can specify nominal hanger bars, because the role of this hanger bar is just to support these stirrup. So I can provide this as say 210 dia bar. And if someone asks you to make a section, so that also you can do, because you should be in a position to make the section. So I'm making one section at mid span. So section 1-1 and one section near support. That will also give you an idea regarding reinforcement. So first I'll make section 1-1. Okay, so this is my section 1-1. So in my section 1-1, so section 1-1, you have 6 numbers of 20 dia bar. In between you have a spacer bar, and here what you are doing, you are placing 210 dia bar, and you are connecting this by stirrups. And here you can mark your bars. Here you have 6 20 dia bar. Here you can mark 2 10 dia bar, and this is the stirrup which is two-legged. Okay, 8 dia at, so this is at center, okay, near center. So this is going to be 300 millimeter center to center. So this is my section 1-1. Okay, now when I come to section 2-2, which is near support, as you can see at support I have this section 2-2. So again you make this. So how your reinforcement looks like. So here you will be having only 3 bars. because the section where you have cut, where there you have only 3 bars, and here you are having the hanger bars. This is my vertical stirrup. I can mark this bar. So this is my 320 dia bar. This is my 2-legged 8 dia at 200 millimeter center to center, because at that section the stirrup is placed at 200 millimeter center to center. And finally, this is my hanger bar, which is 210 dia bar, and this is my section 22. So in order to give a clear idea regarding the reinforcement detail, it is always good you make the longitudinal profile of your reinforced concrete beam, and then you cut the cross section in order to show a closer look of the reinforcement which you have provided in your beam.